Is the winter storm warning. It's effect for all areas here in pink, and a winter weather advisory over to our east. Looking at what we have around the region right now, just clouds moving in, but here comes all the precipitation, and we're going to see more of this as this area of low pressure draws lots of moisture up out of the Gulf of Mexico. You can see Georgia filling in with more rainfall, and that's going to be overriding this very cold air mass in place. So here's why we have this. We have low pressure coming out of the Gulf. We have a strong area of Arctic high pressure that's funneling in this colder air, and so we're going to have warmer air that has a lot of moisture in it falling over the top of this colder air. So we have very shallow cold air. That's why we're not going to see snow, because the column is not below 32 degrees the entire way. The moisture falls, it melts, and then it freezes again, either in sleet pellets or in the form of freezing rain. Rest of tonight, again, temperatures upper 20s to around 30 when everything gets going. In the morning, it's going to be coming down pretty heavily, and it's going to be a mess tomorrow morning for tomorrow morning's commute. Hopefully, a lot of folks just opt to stay off the roads. We might jump up to about 33 degrees or 34, but I'm not real optimistic on it. I think we're going to stay pretty close to 32 throughout the day and into tomorrow night. We can close the book on this whole thing about mid to late afternoon on Friday. 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch, all areas here in red, including Richmond, could have isolated locations up to an inch nosing into central Virginia. Not much at all snow around here. In fact, very slim prospects for that. Heavier snow, though, farther north and west, 3 to 6 Charlottesville to Fredericksburg, and then 6 to 10 when you get way up in northwest Virginia. We'll have some wind around in the morning, which is going to complicate matters and is going to make power outages a little bit more likely here, and those winds will continue throughout the at least mid-afternoon hours before settling down late in the day. So here's the power outage potential, fairly high in red and then very high in areas in pink. It doesn't mean everybody in here is going to lose power, but those will be the most likely areas. So conditions are going to worsen rapidly tomorrow morning. Roads will become slick and hazardous in a hurry. The storm is going to create some greater issues with downed trees and some power lines because of the wind that we're going to have and the rapid icing of everything with the heavy precip rates. And then increasing northwest winds or northeast winds are going to cause everything to kind of sway around a little bit and increase that threat for power outages. Okay, sleet and freezing rain, they're very different. Just keep this in mind. Sleet are the ice pellets. If you hold out your hand, it bounces off that sleet. If it falls as liquid but the temperature is below freezing, that is freezing rain. That's the worst of winter precipitation elements. And we always talk about the bridges and overpasses. The reason they freeze first is because they're not attached to the ground. The ground has its own heat, and so while the ground may stay warm enough to keep the road surfaces on the ground above freezing, these bridges and overpasses where the cold air can get underneath them, they will cool more rapidly. So you may be cruising along just fine, you hit a bridge and you hit a sheet of ice. Here's something you don't see very often. All 50 states except for Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina have some measure of snow on the ground right now. You can't drive from here to California without running across some snow somewhere. There's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll get this big winter storm behind us, and this weekend's going to be dry and cold. Another chance for some rain, maybe a few wet snowflakes on Monday.